Matthew, chapter 14. Jesus walks on water. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples get back into the boat and cross to the other side of the lake while he sent the people home. After sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble far away from land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost!" But Jesus spoke to them at once.
"Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage. I am here."
Then Peter called to him,
"Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you, walking on the water."
"Yes, come,"
Jesus said. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink.
"Save me, Lord!"
he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him.
"You have so little faith,"
Jesus said.
"Why did you doubt me?"
When they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. Then the disciples worshipped him.
"You really are the Son of God,"
they exclaimed. After they had crossed the lake, they landed at Gennesaret. When the people recognized Jesus, the news of his arrival spread quickly throughout the whole area, and soon people were bringing all their sick to be healed. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed.
That is how the first day of school chapel began, followed by an announcement of the theme, a scripture being read, a song being sung, and a message being shared. From our preschool students to our high school seniors, the theme unites our students around a common idea that's grounded in spiritual truth. It's never easy coming up with a theme, and this is my 12th. While researching the internet, I came across the theme that Holland Christian School in Holland, Michigan had 2 years ago. I was fascinated by the humble beginnings of a school that is over 100 years old and has grown to thousands of students. It was a great reminder there are points in the history of a school to pause and ask ourselves, are we all in for God? Recently, our Board of Education selected Danny McCubbin, secondary principal, as the next superintendent. It is obvious to me why the board selected Mr. McCubbin. He is a godly man, has a pastor's heart, years of Christian school administration experience, and knows how to grow schools. My goal is to make the next superintendent, Danny McCubbin's transition, as smooth as possible. I would like to give you an update on the action steps that I wanted to complete before the end of the school year. First, develop the action steps and initiatives for the 2018-2023 strategic plan. The administrative team is working hard to complete a draft of the initiatives and action steps by the end of the year. The board has identified the 6 focus areas for the next 5 years: spiritual growth, finances, facility needs, alternative sources of revenue, volunteers, and curriculum development. Second, the Board of Education has reviewed and revised all board policies. This has been an important task to make sure that our practice as a school system matches our policies. Third, a facility team is in place and is looking at the KC North Campus and future expansion. Discussion is centered on classrooms, parking, and athletic fields. For the 2019-2020 school year, we will be starting a new school in Platte City at Christ Chapel and relocating the Liberty campus to the Kansas City Church. Fourth, create a preliminary draft of a staff salary and benefit package. While a team has been established, much progress still needs to be made. And finally, determine the standardized test to be used for the 2019 2020 school year. The standardized test team has been meeting all year and will bring a recommendation to the Board of Education at their March board meeting. In the book All In by Mark Batterson, he says, "Going all out for God always starts with one step of faith." The annual report has been developed and provides a summary of those steps of faith and God's provisions for the year. You will find as you open the brochure a message from me and the highlights of how our students are learning, loving, and leading. When you turn the brochure over, you will find information on celebrations, growth, and finances of the school system. We will have the brochure posted on the website as well as hard copies at the Welcome Center. I have been an educator for 47 and a half years and have had a wonderful career as a teacher, assistant principal, central office administrator, principal, and superintendent. I can tell you that the past 12 and a half years at Northland Christian has been some of the best years of my career. I've grown professionally and spiritually thanks to the board, staff, students, and parents. I will be retiring from my position as superintendent May 31st, but believe the schools are in capable hands with Mr. Danny McCubbin. Over the years, being principal and superintendent has been rewarding and fun. Take a look. What was I thinking? Working at Northland Christian has been both a wonderful experience and a blessing.